Okay, my YouTube people, as you can see from the beginning of this video, this engine has a problem. It's leaking oil from right in there. Also, I made another mistake. Before this bike even started, I should have had these fittings loose to make sure that it was oiling to the top end. Now, I'm not worried about that because there was a ton of assembly lube in this bike. So now I'm going to crack it open and see what the problem is. Do me a favor, drop in the comments below what you think the problem is and why it had oil puking out of the cam cover. So follow along and we'll find out together. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Now I have to take off the floorboard. There's a 9/16 nut here I have to take off, and then a 9/16 nut here. This will take off the floorboard and the passenger footrest all as one piece. Now I have the nuts and washer off. I just take this off. Brake lever springs connected to it right here. Now I'm going to take off the spring for the rear brakes. And then it looks like I need to take the brake pedal off. This nut's 5/8, and it looks like it was loose before I got here, but the nut's tight, so that's interesting. Might have to pull that whole bracket off and see why this is loose. Maybe it broke a weld on the back side of it. I'll know better when I take the pedal off right here. I think I'm going to have to take this bracket off and see why that's so loose. Not really sure why that's so loose like that. Have to investigate further. Maybe I just need to clean it up and put a tack weld on it to hold it in. I think that's the case. Alright, moving forward. Before I can take the screws out of the cam cover, I need to remove the oil line. Now that I have the oil line removed, I need to loosen all the push rods, and that'll mean be putting each cylinder on top dead center so it relieves the pressure off the valve springs. Then I can loosen those push rods. That way I don't have pressure on the cam when I go to take the cover off. That one's loose right now, so I can take that one off. This one's on the base circle of the cam, that's why it's loose, so I'm going to take that one off first. See about the one behind it now. So this one is not loose. That means the only one I can take off right here is that one. Okay, now that I have the jam nut broke, I'll just take and turn it. I ended up pulling the spark plugs and putting it on TDC on the compression stroke, so you can see that both these are on the base circle of the cam. This one's loose because I can rotate it with my fingers. So now I'm going to loosen that and take the front intake push rod out. So you can see the intake for the front cylinder is a much different style push rod. It's pretty easy to get out. Now I'll do the rears. Alright, now I have everything off that I need off. I have the front and back push rods out. I have the oil line off. I'm going to undo the 2 screws for the generator. To make this simple, I'm just going to put a screwdriver in them with a small adjustable wrench. Just loosen them. Alright, have those 2 out. Now I'm going to go around and loosen all the screws for the cam cover. My guess for what's wrong is I think that the wrong cam cover gasket was used. I don't know if there was different ones for different years or different ones for a knuckle and a pan, but I'll find out. The important part is when you get this cam cover off, I want to keep all the gears and the shims on the shafts that are in the motor so that I don't have to get into timing it plus shimming it since it was already done. You do have 2 alignment dowels, one here and one here. I get the feeling the hardest part of getting this cam cover off is getting it off those alignment dowels. Sure, there's going to be a good bit of oil that comes out of here. I'll try and catch as much as I can with the rag. Looks like the cover's already starting to come off, which is good. Alright, I have 3 screws here to hold the cam cover from coming all the way off so I can be ready for when it happens. I was trying to get behind it a little bit with my fingers, and I did. I moved it, so okay, it's coming. Oh yeah, plenty of oil coming out onto the ground. Oh yeah, sure you can hear it. I see I have one more screw in here that I didn't realize I had, so I'll take that out. Be so nice if I don't have to get a tool behind this and pry it off. Okay, this is going good so far. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look down behind the cover with a flashlight and see if I can't get a screwdriver and push everything back onto the shafts that are in there. Looks like everything is staying in there at the moment. I'll just give everything a little push anyhow. As far as I could tell, looks like everything's staying where it's supposed to be. Alright, now I guess I'll try and pull it the rest of the way. Alright, here goes nothing. Alright, so everything stayed where it belongs. Now, the question is, what exactly happened? Why am I leaking oil out of here really bad? Maybe it's not coming from the cam cover, and maybe it's coming from the oil pump itself, which I hope is not the case. It was leaking right here. And I see nothing that indicates why. Would have rather found a smoking gun. It was leaking right in this area. The gasket is completely intact, so I don't know. So the first thing I wanted to check was the cam cover for flatness because of this repair right here. After I put the straight edge across here, I took a feeler gauge and went in here and found that this area right here is low about 6 thousandths. I also took a flat file across there. You can see where the flat file was hitting up here and was hitting like back in here, but right here is like 6 thousandths low. But I think the cam cover gasket should be able to take that up. I'm not crazy about it, but the only spot you have pressure is right here. The oil pressure comes out of here for the top end and then comes down here for the pinion shaft, and then also sends oil up top to the top end. So I decided to take a 3/1000 feeler gauge and just check in here like this. Sure enough, I could stick that feeler gauge in to about up to here. The gasket has some thickness to it. Let's see how much of a gap that is. Here's 7 thousandths. Yeah, I can get 7 thousandths in there. I do feel if it was coming past this cam cover gasket that I would see some damage to the gasket right over here in that area. And I see no damage in that area whatsoever. I'm not sure that you can get the oil pump off with the engine in the frame. There's about a finger width gap right there, and this back cover is thicker than the gap it would be to take that off. I'm not sure I want to take it off while it's in the motorcycle anyway. I'll have to consult with the engine builder on this to decide what I should do at this point. Before I go any further, I want to make sure all the timing marks align. So right here I have the breather gear. There's a notch there and dot on the cam. On the crank, there's a line there. The other dot on the cam. There's a second alignment. They're the only alignment marks that I see. This is just an idler gear to drive the generator. Alright, now I have them all aligned.